Hi folks, it's me Rena from Snailworks Crochet, and today's video I want to take you along with me in finishing the very last bit of my temperature blanket for 2025. Right now it is December 24th of 2025, and as you are going to be seeing this, it will be 2026 already, which, wow. That's all I gotta say. Time has flown by quite a bit. Regardless, I wanted to use this video as a means of closing out my 2025 temperature blanket. Now, I know I have not filmed monthly updates on the temperature blanket. I've kind of just worked on this off camera, offline, and surprisingly enough, I've actually been pretty good at keeping up. This is what I have done of it. I have up to October completed, and I have 2 more months to go, and I have not woven in any of my ends. Now, for anyone curious on how I chose these colors, why I chose these colors, and just kind of how I came up with the plan on how to make this, feel free to watch my video explaining all of that right there, probably. Keep in mind, when I made that video, it was before Joann's announced their closing for good. So when I had designed and bought all of that yarn, and I was under the impression that Joann's would be a reliable source to get yarn from. Now, obviously, that is not the case, and that makes me incredibly sad for a variety of reasons. But I do want to point out that these colors are all using Big Twist Value. Now, thankfully, as the news became more widespread that they were closing, I did go ahead and buy extra skeins of all the colors, and I was able to get an extra skein of every single color except for one. As I've been working on this, I actually didn't have to worry as much as I thought about not having enough yarn as I initially thought. The only color where I did actually have to dip into that second skein was actually in the summer months, where it was way too damn hot because we live climate change. The months of like May through like August, September were incredibly hot. There were days where it was above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of them were in like the 90s or 100s. I don't know what that is in Celsius, I'm sorry. It's not Houston hot, but it was reasonably hot, especially when I was hiking during the summer and I got heat stroke, so not fun. Regardless, midway through, as I was crocheting the months of, all those really hot summer months, I decided to make the executive decision to add on an extra color where I used a brown yarn, which I don't know if you can see that in this lighting. I have this purple yarn, which was my original hot color, and then I have this brown yarn, which is my even hotter color, which is also Big Twist Value, but this is the Big Twist Value Pound Plus, and I dipped into quite a bit of this. So yeah, that is kind of how the year went. It was just hot, unfortunately. But now it's getting into the colder months, and so I don't have to use that purple color anymore. I used up 1 skein of it. I haven't used up 1 skein of any of the other colors. I do think I'm going to use up 1 skein of the coldest color because there's a lot of days in December that are below freezing. And so I have relegated that color to below freezing temperatures, which is this light blue color. I used a lot of this in January because it was super cold. And then now in December, as it's colder, I think I'm probably going to use up this skein. But other than that, I actually have quite a few of the colors left for my temperature blanket. I've actually been pretty good about completing all the months and also attaching everything together, which is why you can see it, being put together. I have not been so good about weaving in the ends because, as you can see, there's a lot of loose ends here. But one thing I have been doing, which I really like and has made my life easier, is that I have been attaching all of these squares together using the Join As You Go method, because that is the superior way of joining any form of granny square. And so that has made everything easier, no sewing, because you know me, I don't like sewing. Once I actually get the next couple of squares done and put together, one, I'm gonna have to weave in my ends, and two, I'm gonna need to add a border of some sort. I'll probably still do something moss stitch related, maybe like a couple rounds, just because, you know, it is still a moss stitch blanket, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. It's a little bit loose, but I'll get to making my temperature blanket.
Jug with you.
What did you say?
We can be a Fortnite gamer.
Never heard that?
No! So I got about this far on my November temperature blanket last night, and it's about halfway through November, which is good. Actually checking here, this is most of the way through November. About 10 days left, so I'm gonna finish this, and then I will show you how I do the join as you go method for attaching this to the blanket. Okay, I have my blanket here, and I have the square where I'm about to add the last row, which is using this white because this is for November, which has 30 days instead of 31 days. I'm going to attach this yarn, and then I'm going to use the join as you go method as I work this. Adjusted this better, so I have attached the yarn. I'm going to go ahead and work on this first corner right here. I'm gonna take the blanket right here. I'm gonna start attaching this onto the blanket. So I have my first stitch on the corner right here, made one chain, and then I'm going to use, instead of making one more chain, I am going to slip stitch into the corner of this row right here, slip stitch, and that's me attaching. And then I'm going to do one single crochet here in the corner again. And then for moss stitch, you normally do a chain one and then single crochet, but here, instead of chaining one, I will be doing a slip stitch into the chain one space of my blanket. So slip stitch, and then single crochet, slip stitch, single crochet into that space, slip stitch into here, single crochet into chain one space of our square. And then I'm going to basically do this throughout the rest of the square, and that is how I will connect the square to the blanket. I have November attached right here. Yay. Now I just need to work on the month of December. And today is actually December 27th. So I can look ahead for the weather forecast for, you know, the last couple of days of December
to finish this blanket, but I might wait it out a little bit. We'll see how long it takes me to finish December Square. I don't expect it'll take me too long to do so, but I can at least get started on it now. And when I basically get up to like the current day, I can probably set it aside and then maybe start attacking these ends. So I started playing Stardew Valley again. So I wasn't able to get much done on the temperature blanket, but I got this much done. So I stopped around here yesterday and then I did about this much just now. But just letting you know, I don't play a lot of video games, but when I do, it's Stardew Valley. And when I play Stardew Valley, I play it for like hours on end to the point where it's kind of a lot. So I've not been crocheting as much as I would like to, but I do want to finish this square. Now I will say I have made the decision where I think I'll just finish the blanket with what I have now for the temperature predictions, because it's the 28th, right? December's basically over at this point. I think the weather forecast for the next couple of days are somewhat accurate, that I think I can just use whatever is provided for those last couple of days of December for my temperature blanket. I think that's what I'm going to do, and then I will work on that. I'll connect the square and I will check back in. Also, yesterday I asked for a Snuggie, and this is the only Snuggie that they had on the shelf at Walmart. So I now have a Flamin' Hot Cheeto Snuggie. On one hand, it's great, but on the other hand, it's still a ridiculous Snuggie. You will be seeing this in future videos, just letting you know that right now. It's gonna happen regardless of what anyone says, because it's comfy and I've been wanting one of these for a while. Hi, hello, it is New Year's Eve, and I only have a couple of rows left for December. And so, you know how I said I would go with the weather forecast and not care about the temperature? Turns out it was off, and so I checked it yesterday again and found out that I'm gonna have to frog like 2 rows. Like, I think I was on the 3rd row of this pink, but I'm gonna have to frog a couple of rows of this and change colors because supposedly it warmed up a little bit. Well, I didn't realize because I didn't go outside, but and the thing is, now that I know this, I can't ignore it, so I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna frog this. But at least I'm done with the pink color, and I can at least blend it up. So, you know how I mentioned my Stardew Valley saga the other day? Or at least to you guys earlier in this video? Turns out, when you play non-stop video games for like 2 days in a row without really moving, it takes a toll on your hands. And I never really understood that until just now. I think the biggest reason is because I don't have a wrist pad. So my wrists on my keyboard and my forearms are hurting a lot playing video games, which I know is a very common thing. I didn't really play games, so keep that in mind, but I had never really experienced that in the previous times I've played video games, primarily because I was mostly playing on a laptop, not a desktop computer. But wow, yeah, my hands are kind of suffering. I'm getting to the point where I have to stop now. And ironically enough, crocheting is giving my hands relief, which is so weird to say. You know, part of me thinks I just need a better mouse and a wrist pad. I think I'm just so used to using laptop keyboards that, you know, the laptop keyboard isn't bothering me, but having a proper full keyboard for the first time is interesting. I definitely need to optimize my new computer setup, but yeah, I guess it wouldn't have been a problem if I wasn't just like hours at a time playing Stardew Valley, but you know, it'd be like that. Crocheting is better on my hands than video games. I mean, it's still bad for my hands in a different way, but it's working a different muscle.
I just attached the last square onto the temperature blanket, and it's officially done. I am very excited. It looks really good. Now all I gotta do is add a border and weave in my ends, and I should be good to go. So let me do the border first. Now for the border, I'm going to use this white color, which is what I used on the months where there were 30 days instead of 31 days. And so I'm just going to use this border to tie everything together. This is the remainder of a yarn I bought last year before Christmas, where I made Christmas sweaters with it, but I used like 1 pound skeins. And so this is, I think I have this and a little bit more of this for remaining, and I kind of want to get it out of my stash, so let's use this as my border color. And I've been using it as my border color anyway, so. Do I want to do single crochets or do I want to do moss stitch? Because moss stitch would, you know, match the vibe, but single crochets would kind of clean it up a little bit. I'm not sure, so let's get started. You know what? I think moss stitch will be the move I go with. Hopefully I only need 1 layer instead of like 2, just to make it look nice, but we'll see how that turns out. And let's get crocheting. Okay, I have finished the border and all I gotta do is weave in the ends, but for now I will end my video here. This is the full temperature blanket for 2025 and look at it, it's so pretty. You know, I'm so excited for this. I'm really happy with how this turned out. On one hand, it's like awkwardly shaped, but on the other hand, the color combination and how I planned everything out looks so good. I'm very happy that all these colors go together. I'm also glad I didn't run out of yarn. The border really ties everything together. I only had to do 1 round of moss stitch border to kind of complete everything, so I'm really glad about that. I still gotta weave in my ends, but I'm gonna leave that for a different day and not now. Now, for anyone asking me if I should block this blanket, no, the answer is no. Funny enough, actually, I tend to, I guess for lack of better words, block my acrylic blankets just by throwing it in a washer and dryer on a normal cycle. And it seems to like loosen up the fibers by doing that, probably because of the heat. So you know, outside of that, should be fine. That is my temperature blanket. I am so happy that I got it done for the new year, so that way I don't have to worry about it. I'm sure some of you might be asking, am I planning on doing another temperature blanket for 2026? The answer is no, I am not. I don't want to. I am very glad that I was able to keep up with this, but honestly, I don't want to do it again. Plain and simple. I've tried it once. I can say that I've done it. I completed it. I don't want to do it again. One, that is my first project done of 2026 is my temperature blanket minus the ends. I'll worry about that later, don't worry. What a great way to both end the year 2025 and kick off the new year of 2026. So with that, I will conclude my video here. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!